What's up, Infected, and welcome to the Quarantine. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a game by the name of the Chameleon. So what is the Chameleon? Well, the Chameleon is kind of in a similar vein as Spyfall, where everybody knows a certain piece of information but one person, and that person has to, everybody has to say a word to kind of make it seem like everybody knows that they know what they're talking about. You don't want to be too specific, because then the chameleon or the traitor will know what the word is or the location or whatever, and then you're going to go around that. You're going to argue. You're going to try to figure out who the traitor is, or in this case the chameleon, and you're going to try to narrow them out by what they said, who was too vague, or who really didn't know what they were talking about, or something like that. And so it's a good little party game. So let's go over to the overview. Setting up a game of the Chameleon is pretty simple. You're going to decide whether you want the blue or the green back cards. Now they're pretty much identical, it's just where these numbers here are laid out are different depending on green or blue. That way, if you play this game a ton, you can't just memorize, okay, well, 6-3 is always B1, so let's, I know exactly what it is. So that'll make more sense in a minute. So what you're going to do is you're going to deal out a number of these cards equal to the number of players. So if you were playing with 5 cards, you're going to make sure one of them is the Chameleon and have 4 other cards. You're going to shuffle these up and you're going to deal them out to each player. Now when you get your card, it's going to look similar to this. So then everybody's going to flip over a topic card. So in this case, our topic is mythical creatures. So then one player is going to take these dice and they're going to roll them, and you're going to compare 5 and 3. So you're going to look at your card here secretly, and 5 and 3 correlates to B3. So then you're going to look here, and B3 is a mermaid. So everybody then is going to take a second and think of a single word that will let everybody know that you know that the word is mermaid. But you don't want to be too specific, because the Chameleon's card looks like this, so they have no idea what it is. But mythical creatures, they can kind of use something that's vague. So once everybody's decided they've got the word, you're going to go in turn order, and you determine who's going to go first in however way you want, whether you want to roll this die or go random or whatever. And that person's going to say a single word. So mermaid, you may say water. And then the next player may say, something else, hair, and so on and so forth, all the way around. And the Chameleon, using what everybody else has already said and kind of knowing what the overall theme of this is, might say something else. So maybe somebody said hair and somebody said said water. So if you look here, that was actually a terrible example, because you got the Loch Ness Monster, but I don't think there's hair on the Loch Ness Monster, so it's obviously a mermaid. But either way, so they're going to look at this and they're going to say maybe Greek mythology, and because a lot of these fall under that. And then once everybody said their word, you all are going to argue back and forth and debate and to try to figure out who you want to accuse of being the Chameleon. Now, if you guess wrong, the Chameleon just wins that round. However, if you do guess the Chameleon has one last-ditch effort to try to win. If they can guess which one of these words was the actual word that was rolled, then instead they just win. So you have to be careful about the clues that you give and really want to try to not give it away. So you see here, there's a large stack of different topics. However, if you get tired of those topics, the game does come with a dry erase pen and a blank one, and you can just make up your own. And you're going to continue playing until you've decided you've played to a predetermined amount of points, or maybe you've played a predetermined amount of rounds, or pretty much however you want. Alright, the Chameleon. Well, first and foremost, I've played Spyfall before, and it was okay. We had a little bit of fun with it, but with the pictures, a lot of the time it becomes kind of a headache, a lot to keep up with. I don't know, we didn't really enjoy that. However, I'm just going to right out of the gate say that we thoroughly enjoyed the Chameleon. The fact that there's such a wide variety of topics, it's not as clunky as Spyfall. because you're not having to separate all these cards. You don't want to be super careful and make sure that they don't see your card and all that. So it's a quality of life improvement. You know, Spyfall, you have to divide all the different all the different locations, and divide them all up, and make sure each one has the spy card or whatever. And it's kind of a headache. This, you don't have that headache. You just give everybody one of those cards. Of course, make sure nobody sees your card, so you still have that in play. But then you're gonna flip over that middle card, the themes card, and you're just gonna go off of the central theme card, so everybody knows what the overall theme is. So, for example, I'll grab one here: fairy tales. So maybe you'll kind of say something super vague like a book, or something like that. But then that kind of feeds into it. Did you go too specific or too vague because you're the chameleon, or did you go too vague because you didn't want the chameleon to know? So you wind up having this really cool back and forth, and it's a fantastic little game. Now, in my reviews, I like to try to do a balanced review, as a lot of you guys may know, and try to point out some negatives. And honestly, there aren't a lot of negatives with this game. The only one that I could really go for, that I could really find, is, I guess, maybe the dice. But even then, there's not really anything bad about this game outside of the fact that if you don't like party style games, and that's really the only downfall that I can find from the game. It's fast, it's fun, it's incredibly simple. You get tired of playing with the green back cards, go to the blue back cards, and the numbers are shuffled around. So, you know, if you play this game enough, you're gonna kind of start picking up, okay, 5-3 on green is usually right around in this area. You mix that up with the blue cards. And so there isn't really a lot to hate about the game. The game is fantastic. Everybody that played it loved it. Everybody, after every game, we'd wind up playing the game at least a dozen more times because it's incredibly fast. There's a lot of arguing and yelling about why you use this and why they did this, and I definitely recommend picking it up. From what I understand, it's available at Target. So if you see it there, definitely pick it up. It is worth your time. Anyways, that is my review for the Chameleon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time in the Quarantine.